What is going on, everyone? Welcome to an impromptu extra episode of Fuzzy Dice for the week. For those of you who are joining us, maybe for the first time, maybe not. You know that Fuzzy Dice is a show we normally do on Tuesdays, but sometimes we want to hang out with cool people, and they just can't make it on Tuesday because I am horrible at picking days of the week to do streams on. No, legit, I am because I decided on Tuesday, I don't remember how, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Chris Perkins is going to be streaming at the exact same time as you. And then,
that's right. You're across Dice Camera Action, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, no. That's too bad. I didn't even put that together.
No.
Yikes.
And also, the guy that I'm going to be hanging out with in just a little while on his channel for Critical Role, he also started streaming on Tuesday, and it's like, okay, just no. That's cool. I didn't want anyone to hang out with me anyway.
I don't really like anyone in my chat. It's fine.
All right, but thank you all for stopping by. We have a fun night for you. I hope everything's working because the last time I did this, I was having issues with Twitch. So let me. Yeah, maybe I should do Thursday now. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Should I do Thursday? That'll be a discussion I have with other people. I don't know. My Twitch video is kind of acting up, but let me know how it's working in chat. By the way, what's up, Fixie Geek? So why don't we dive right into it? Because today we have a little bit of stuff we want to do, some special stuff. And before we get into that, I want to introduce the two people that are hanging out on either side of me, and I'm pointing at both of them so I know which side of the camera is which. On this side of me, I have got Mr. Timothy Myers, and on this side of me, I have got. Oh my God, sorry, something came up on my screen. I don't know what it was. Shit, what is that? All right, ignore it. No, I got a big notification that came up like right in front of everything. Anyway, why don't you guys tell everyone a little bit about yourselves and what you guys do?
Yeah, great. Like our illustrious host said, I am Timothy J. Meyer. I'm one of the two showrunners on Experience Points. The other showrunner, I think, is also here. Are you there, Kate? Kate, I can't see you.
Hi. Yep.
There she is. You introduce yourself.
I'm Kate, the other showrunner for XP. Yep.
Awesome. If those of you who don't know, Experience Points is a 12-part scripted web series that's on YouTube right now. It is obviously D&D themed, and we've been releasing since middle of July, and we're like coming up on the end of the show. Yeah, and so we wanted to come on today, talk about the show a little bit, hang out, answer some questions. And if you are just tuning in, it's kind of exclusive. We are going to be unveiling the 10th episode here on the stream. Exclusively here, nowhere else until Sunday. So those of you who do stick around get to see it 3 days early. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And so I want to, I kind of want to talk a little bit about it. And I feel like you should put some bard music on in the background, as I always do. I wanted to talk a little bit about it because when I started streaming, which was not all that long ago these days, I forget exactly how I saw it, but somehow I came across the talk about the show, and that was actually before it was on YouTube, but after it had been kickstarted, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so it seemed really cool, and also at that time, like I was looking for things to watch. I had just watched this other YouTube D&D show that was not actually the same. It wasn't the same format. It was one of those sort of the gamers style series where like it's about the characters, not really the players. Actually, I did mention your show and a few others when I hung out with the producers from the gamers. We were talking about
funny.
The sort of upswell of homegrown kind of YouTube, creator distributed shows that were specifically specifically to fill that kind of niche in the hobby that there hasn't really been a lot of entertainment created for, before the last couple years.
that was one of the big impetuses for making the show, was that we felt that there were a lot of like people in that space, but not a lot of people necessarily doing it what we felt like for sort of the right reasons. Like the cultural perception of D&D is still kind of the like basement dwelling, mouth breathing dweeb is kind of the idea. We wanted to like, well, listen, what if we took an approach that wasn't necessarily comedy? It was like, what if we just presented it and said, this is a game and you're going to sit there for a session and watch these people play, but not an actual play, because sometimes those are really inaccessible, right? Like, they're awesome and I love them. I've actually just been binging Dice Camera Action like the past last week, but it's hard. It's 2 hours, right? 2-3 hours of sitting down. So yeah, we wanted to, exactly as you're talking about, try to fill that little niche of the like, what's a digestible like 15-minute TV show length, have the episodes be much more digestible, but still convey authentically what D&D really looks like at the table. So yeah, that was something we thought about.
Be scripted as well, because there's a lot of like watered down versions too that are like, here's the basics of what's happening, but we wanted it to be as like intricate as possible and still be scripted, and see if
use actual characters and rules from 5th edition and all that stuff, right? Not have like a dumbed down. Well, they won't understand if we use the actual terms. Like, no, people flank and they spend minor actions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I thought actually in particular was pretty cool, which kind of I think distinguished this show in particular a little bit from a lot of the other ones that were being made. Like, if I don't know if you may have seen, or you may remember, a long time ago when I had just started the show, one of my very first guests, back I think when I had originally talked to Tim about coming on the show, was one of my very first guests was Natural 20, the another YouTube show. Hilarious show, and the actors on it are great. Very, very different in tone, and sort of
super different in tone, right?
And that's what what kind of interested me. It was like a lot of the hobby related, the role playing game related sort of TV productions, movies and stuff, have always been very, very heavily comedy based, because I think that's very easy to do. It's accessible and it's an easy place to go to. So it was interesting to me to see that you guys immediately from the start, you were not trying to go that route. You were kind of writing drama and not just
drama. The challenge for us was kind of investment, right? That I think there's a certain thing with comedy where you can kind of stand at a distance and like, boy, that's wacky. I'm not. Those guys are so crazy. We sort of wanted to, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's tons of like half of my games like hinge on humor. Like I love to use humor, especially at the table, but that like we wanted to try to push for investment from someone who's not there, and based only off of the words that the DM uses and the character voices, imagine and get invested in the way that you would if you were a player, right? There's no cutting into it. There's no. Now we go to like the gamers do with Dead Gentlemen, right? They'll go and they'll show you because they have, and it's just high production value and it looks great. But we didn't really think that was going to be in our budget, and so we have to kind of thought, how can we do it that's A, more authentic feeling, and B, like challenges the audience to sit down and pay attention and understand who the characters are and why they're doing what they're doing in the sort of fictional world, in the meta narrative, basically.
We knew that there would be a higher risk also in making it kind of this way. We're like, well, we're kind of pigeonholing our audience a little bit. We have to trust that either they play or they know how to play, or they're willing to sit through it and kind of invest on their own. So it was sort of an experiment too. It's like, well, we like XP and we like what we're making, so hopefully other people do, and hopefully they care enough to kind of stick around, and that it resonates with them in a different way, in a way that they can really relate to with their campaigns and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think I know the answer, but do you guys? Because I've seen sort of a lot of the reaction on both on Twitter and on the YouTube channel and stuff. I mean, do you guys think like that you're? Do you think you've kind of reached the audience in the way that you were hoping you did? Like, have you?
Yeah,
have you delivered what you that kind of experience in the way that you would hope to?
Definitely, I think so. I mean, I think the big advantage is when I originally had the concept, it was much longer ago than like Critical Role was really a thing. I think the advent of the actual play as like a means of entertainment has helped us so much, because it's so easy now to sit and watch XP and be like, yeah, I get it. Where if you've watched all 60 episodes of Critical Role and they're 30 hours a piece, or 3 hours a piece, oh my God, right? Like you're so invested. It's not very difficult, I don't think, now to sit down and watch this for 15 minutes. So the people seem to be invested. The people that we've seen, obviously, let's get more views. We love views. Everyone wants more views. But I think the audience we have reached has really connected with it exactly in the way we wanted. We were worried they would get hung up on mechanics, or they'd be too concerned about, the little fiddly bits. But no, everything we've seen, everyone is super supportive and super invested, and that's been a thrill. Like we were so excited that people liked it. We were just terrified they would think it was crappy, and that was about the extent of it, right? So,
Yeah.
And it's such a good community anyway of people that just want to support you and like want to just be involved because they all like the same things. So it's cool to kind of join that community, like having been a part of it but on the side for so long, and finally now like be active in it and be like, I'm a part of the community and everyone's really happy and supportive, and like
it's literally the best kind of community to try to break into, I think, of the ones that I've seen, that like, because it's exactly the attitude. It's super welcoming. Like sometimes you get the min-maxy kind of rules lawyery people every once in a while, but like the vast majority of the people that we've encountered have been endlessly supportive and just happy for more content, right? And that's awesome.
Well, the funny thing too is I know a few of those people I call min-maxy rules lawyers, and I don't think any of them would turn down like a quality D&D show. Like it doesn't,
right. That's like you'd hope. Yeah.
It's they're because but you're right, and I forget who I talked about this. One of my guests. It might have been Too Cool for Tabletop, and a podcast I had on this show a long time ago. But we got into talking about it. And I brought it up because we're a lot of us, a lot of people in general have kind of started from something from scratch and just sort of put it out there and hoped that they found their audience and that people kind of were welcoming and stuff to it. Podcasts and shows and streams and stuff like that. And I have this sort of parallel because some family members of mine, my brother and my nephew, both started comedy podcasts. And it was very, like we talked for hours and stuff about how to sort of get things out there and reach, find and reach an audience. And what I said was it almost felt too easy to kind of connect with other gamers and stuff, because I almost had to do very, very little, to actually get in front of it, because the whole community as a whole, they're great. And they're eager to share things that they like, and they're eager to kind of, bring more people to enjoy things with them.
Kate and I both have experience in kind of the independent film world outside of D&D, and it's impossible to get any traction in that. You make the thing and you hope, boy, it'd be cool if anyone ever fucking watched this. Excuse my draconic.
This is a G-rated show, so.
No. Yeah, you're exactly right. With D&D, you just start saying, hey, what if there was a thing? You just put something out there and you instantly get positive, not just response, but positive response, right? Like, yeah, it's a weird wonderland for content creators because they just love it, and they would never, I don't know, like, I don't want to write other stuff.
Excitement like no other
exactly.
thing. It's just so many, everything feeds off of everything else. It's great. And like, you really can just share so much content and be like, well, this other cool D&D thing. And everyone always wants to learn. It's all great.
Fix a Geek asks about booze tonight. I wish I had booze. My hand, you'll know, is empty because I literally raced home from work and I did not have time. I do have the comically large vodka bottle, but I don't feel like drinking straight vodka right now.
You're going to that Critical Role thing. You can get super drunk there, right? Like
I probably will.
There you go.
So yeah, no. It's I really I enjoyed watching the show come from nothing. And by the way, you guys aren't just the creators. I mean, you are straight up like acting in it.
Yeah, yes.
That's true. Yeah. I think that's real to me, and to test that we are the creators. Like we have to act in it, right? It's not like we must because our talent is like we're just like, well, who are we gonna cast as this? I guess it's Kate. I guess this is me, right?
Well, that's a question. When you so Tim, when you were I don't know who the original idea came from offhand, but when you guys had sat down to to kind of come up with this. Did you say like, hey, I should get someone else to be the dungeon master, or were you just like, all right, no one else could do this properly, so I guess I'll just do it?
I did say like, oh man, well, I don't know who would play the DM. Like I was like, I don't want to do it. And then Kate and a couple of other people that were involved at the time were like, well you're gonna do it. Like there wasn't like a who should we cast? You're doing it. Obviously, you're doing it. I'm like, okay, fine. But I agree. I think if we had cast someone else, I just would have been mad and nitpicking it the whole time and been like, that's not really the voice I would use. Like, I would have been I would just been an asshole to that poor actor. So I'm glad that we didn't do that. Save someone the headache of having to have me over their shoulder the whole time. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No. I want to ask, because I asked this same question to the Dead Gentleman and Zombie Orpheus guys. Because someone in chat asked us, they said, when you're putting together a show, like a D&D related show, where you have, in essence, people sitting down and acting out the role of gamers,
right?
Did you look for actors, or did you just look for people who were already playing games?
Kate, you want to feel that one?
Yeah, it was actually part of our casting process to find people who also played. Like, that was a really important part for us, because we wanted them to understand the mechanics and everything that were happening. We could have played with them ahead of time and like, you can teach that, but at the same time, like it was important to us that we kind of like in those car commercials where it's like, this is an actual driver. It's like, we want it to be actual players as well, so that it furthers the community and all of that. So a couple of our friends, Cody was in a campaign with me that Timothy ran for about 3 years. So we knew that he knew, and is also all of Cody, Kevin, and Heather are all actors as well. So like that just kind of.
That's one of the big advantages of living in Los Angeles, is that you can throw a rock at anyone and they're probably an actor anyway, right? Like no one doesn't think they're kind of an actor. Like, you know, like anyone you talk to in Los Angeles, like, yeah, I've acted, it's happened, right?
Except my nephew, who's a stand-up comedian. He just moved to LA.
But even that, right? There's the performance there for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's
so yeah, that was a big factor. Absolutely.
It's like that's always something that's been interesting to me, because you know, I guess it's the same, you know, it's the same thing. Like it comes, you know, I was thinking of this when I watched, because I used to love the Gamers movies when they kind of became a thing around all my tables. And, you know, a lot of people like, oh, you know, these guys, like, they just seem to kind of be very, very natural with what they're doing. Or, you know, is that just a really good script, or are they just, you know...
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that was very important for us, too, was to have that sense of... Because especially because you're coming into a game that has been pre-existing. Like, the one character comes in and she's brand new, but everyone else has been playing this game for 30 weeks now, and so we really wanted to have that sense of history there, that, like, not only are these people, you know, gamers and nerds, but they've been playing in this campaign particularly for 30 sessions. So without necessarily weighing you down with inside references and jokes and stuff like that you weren't going to get, we still wanted to have that sense of lived in, these are kind of the things they've been joshing each other about, or these are little... Like you, and there's a lot of that stuff that's unscripted that Kate put in, where you'll see people will make little faces at each other and that kind of thing in reference to events that have previously happened. Yeah, we wanted to have it feel like this is a real, authentic gaming group.
So you didn't actually prep those 30 sessions, though, right? You didn't. Like,
no.
You didn't like write a campaign story for all those.
How insane would that be? We discussed it at one point, and like maybe we would do it. I guess I would do it at some point because it would just be cool. But we talked about making a fake Obsidian portal and having me write like adventure logs for 30 episodes that never happened. And
where
like,
did I hear?
I think that's happened, but only because I wouldn't be doing the work for it.
Right, exactly. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds horrible. Like, what a nightmare.
See, that's the thing.
It'd be awesome.
That's the thing, is that's exactly how I would start. Like, if I were like, hey, I'm gonna write a thing that's gonna be about a D&D campaign, what I'd have to do is I'd have to start from scratch, and I'd have to write the whole thing, because it's like, if I don't know in my head where everything connects to and where everything starts, like, I don't know, I feel underprepared.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you could totally do that, and at times I did have to sit down and think, okay, wait, so when did this... I have basically a rough outline of what all the previous sessions were, because sometimes, especially, I don't know if you've seen the show, I don't know if you've seen any of the flashbacks yet, but there were times where like, wait, have they done this yet? Because I think that the wound hasn't happened, because that was this, like, we did eventually have to break down and make an outline of like, what was this campaign doing up to this point? Yeah, it's eventually necessary, but maybe not in that level of detail that you would do it in, because that would murder me. I would have died I had to do that.
And by the way, thank you so much, Scotty Linchester, for following. Welcome to the madness, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, man. We.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
you were saying.
no. I want to like. So is there anything cool that you can kind of share or you want to talk about like the show? Like, do you have any? I know you guys said you're having plans. Like, you have 2 more episodes. Do you have any plans after that? Like, what's obviously,
Well,
I mean, if it's been successful, you want to kind of continue doing it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. We've been getting a lot of this question lately, and we were very adamant when we were working on it to not think about a second season. Like, let's just think about getting season 1 done, because we were in the thick of it. We didn't have a very long time to shoot, so during actual production, it was just like just ram this thing out. It's 300 pages. Oh my God, it's horrible. However long it was. But now that it's kind of come and we're releasing and we're almost done with season 1, people are trying to ask that question. We kind of have to have that conversation at some point, right? Like, we've definitely talked about it, but we don't have any concrete plans. It's just been such a labor of love to do the first season that, like, it's not that I don't think Kate or I would want to do one, but it's such an undertaking that we would need a little time to assess and figure out where we are in our lives and stuff like that. We want to do something for sure, and we will, but the question is what form that will take. I'm not sure.
We're kind of waiting to see how support lands to like can keep building our community and keep gaining support. Then that might push us into like the possibility of it too. Just
absolutely.
Yeah, funding and energy and everything.
Sort of exactly. The better the first season does, the more likely we're going to do a second season, basically. And not that we're not doing well right now, but if you want a second season, get out there and watch it and share it and tell everyone. Because if there's this huge swell of, oh my God, it was awesome, then you bet absolutely we will. Yeah. So right now we got 2 more episodes, and that's what we're kind of focused on.
Cool. And obviously for the second season, because you're in LA, you've got to replace all the actors with celebrities.
That's exactly what we're going to do. We're just gonna cast Vin Diesel and Stephen Colbert, and we'll just get all the D&D playing actors in there, but playing the same parts, right? So Vin Diesel will play Heather, and it'll be great. It'll work out fine.
Have you like? All right. So, by the way, Hitch said he said you definitely need the beard back.
I do need the beard.
Was that just a time thing? Like, was that a time thing? Was that a character thing?
It was a character thing. Like, we decided that he should have the original look for Alan, and we didn't quite get there, was kind of a bit of the sort of like mad scientist, like long hair, kind of beard, that he doesn't really take care of himself maybe in the way that he should, right? Because he's working on the game all the time.
That's so stereotypical Dungeon Master though. Like, I don't know any DM like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, we didn't want to push it to the level of, like, the long ponytail, right, and the rubber band binder. Like, he's like, okay, he's got a job probably, but when he comes home, he's in the campaign. He's not like Alan is kind of written to be an almost nobody character. Like, you don't know anything about his personal life, you don't know anything about him as a person. You learn about them and their lives, but Alan is just kind of this shade on the wall. You never really learn anything about him. Exactly. So we didn't want to delve too much in there, but we thought, if I don't have a beard, I look like I'm 13, so that's like another big factor.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then that's probably a development you should have for season 2. You can have a whole story arc about that, about how he shaved, now he wears a suit, and he
his whole life is different. Yeah.
Oh God, what was it? I was gonna read something, but I totally forgot what it was. Oh yeah, I did want to say, because you are casting celebrities and stuff, who are you getting to play you?
Right. Oh, for me? Oh my God, I don't know. Who do you think would be a great? I mean, I'm trying to think of because now my brain is just on celebrities who play, right? People that I know who play. But there's not that many of them, I don't think.
Let's get Vin Diesel to play everybody.
Vin Diesel can play everyone. Yeah, like a nutty professor.
My default choice is at least for my if I were ever in a series or something and I had to get an actor to play me, it would be The Rock, because I know he plays D&D and also he looks a lot like me.
Well, buddy. Well, he looks more like you than he looks like me. We'll say that much. I'll give you that.
The lighting is wrong in here. You'd have to. That's
all. Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. It's a matter of lighting. I don't know, Kate. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be like a Vin Diesel meets the Nutty Professor
To play
kind of
her?
thing, where he would just play it. Yeah,
He'd play
yeah,
her.
I think so. I think Vin Diesel could play you, Kate.
Just
I
with
don't
the
think
like he's talking to golf balls on a stick, like, and then you just
Yeah,
have him
exactly.
around the table.
yeah,
You could do that. You could just have him in a
He
fake
did that.
beard and then like in a wig.
beard, red wig. Yeah. Listen, Kate. I think we got it.
Yeah, let's
Figured
start.
out we're gonna do this.
Everyone tweet to Vin Diesel. Get him for season 2.
If
Can
you
do
can
it.
if you can manage to get in touch with Vin Diesel, if anyone can, first of all tell him to be on that show, but also then tell him to be a guest on my show, because if you can do
Okay,
that, like
right.
make that happen. Hitch says you need to get
We
Gary
benefit.
Busey to play you, Tim.
Well, Gary Busey, come on. Ouch. Gary Busey's a psychopath. Why? Oh, young Gary Busey. Oh, Hitch. We had such a great friendship, and then you said that. Oh, ouch. Ouch, buddy.
Hitch,
That hurts me.
that's mean.
Why?
You're talking about me, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know.
Okay, this is getting creepy now, Hitch. I stole no one's face. I would like all authority figures to understand that I have stolen 0 people's faces. It's got to be on the record somewhere.
We have it saved for posterity.
Yeah, when the police department comes asking about it.
Is that a crime? Can you actually be arrested for stealing someone's face?
Physically, I think you cut
I mean,
someone's face
physically,
off.
yes.
But I was imagining, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. So there's definitely not been like a rash of face-stealing crimes in Seattle that I'm definitely not implicated in. Like, so just want to get on the record. I've never stolen a face. I have no plans to steal a face. Yeah.
We're not.
This seems like a
reenacting
good
that.
digression, I feel.
Yes.
Let's stay here.
That John Travolta Nick Cage movie.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Hitch. Yikes. All right.
Yeah, Hitch is getting dark. Hitch, by the way, is a very cool guy who has not played D&D with me ever since I was on that 24-hour show, but he needs to. But he lives in one of those weird ass time zones that
Oh.
the not this
What?
one time zones.
The one that's not your time zone.
Well, everyone
We
that's-
actually also both live in a weird time zone. So,
Every time zone that's not New York is wrong. Like,
is that where you are? You're in New York?
yeah,
It's wrong.
you
I
can't
don't
tell from the surroundings. This is clearly New York.
Yeah, not at all. No, not even remotely. Cool. Let's see.
So, all right. So I know we are kind of we have a couple things. Definitely, we want to get to the Q&A, but we've talked about it a little bit. What do you say we do you want to do a little bit of setup and then we can kind of jump right into the
Yes.
episode?
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, if you've not seen the show, this is kind of a bad episode to jump in on because we're a little bit late in. But it is, I think, a pretty exciting episode. So, previously on Experience Points, you guys, basically what's happened so far is that we have joined this D&D group who is in the middle of a kind of a topsy-turvy episode. Kate's character, Mackenzie, is a new player in this group, and she has kind of tossed everything up in the air. They were working for a woman named the Duchess Nightspear, trying to help them win this war against this invading elven power. However, they very recently, as of 2 episodes ago, found out that the Duchess is actually embroiled in a snake-worshipping cult. And may have been orchestrating evil acts the entire campaign. With this knowledge, they are now heading off to go and confront her in battle in the catacombs beneath her decrepit Transylvanian-style castle. So they're basically marching off into combat at the very beginning of the episode, and they're going to fight her. And that's basically all you need to know if you haven't seen it yet. But if you're like, wow, I had no idea what was going on in that episode, I very much recommend you go back and watch the rest of it because it will make much more sense that way. Yeah. That's anything else I'm missing, Kate? What do you think?
Nope.
Cool. We got it. Awesome.
Sorry, I'm just letting everyone on the
Alright.
Twitters know that we're gonna hit this stuff up.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I think
Do
you
it.
definitely
I'll
need
read
to
you.
get a voice actor to do like that last
Previously
time on
on-
Experience Points.
Yeah. Previously on
s-
Experience.
All right, so let me let's cue this up, and we are going to we're gonna go quiet on our end a little bit. Let me and then we're just gonna watch this. I may actually have to mute Skype because I don't have any other way of doing this. So
Fine.
all right, let's turn that music down, and let's switch right over.
It is a simple task to follow the Duchess Nightspear by torchlight and the stomping of her guards through the twisting catacombs. It is much harder to do so silently, however, with Lady Celeste's own clanking armor. All the same, you don't catch up with the Duchess for many minutes of navigating the dim and dank passages, and when you do, she's already reached her destination.
Uh-oh. This is never a good sign.
Guys, I cannot believe we are doing this. If this doesn't go the way we
If
want...
this doesn't go the way we want, we were boned anyway, so...
Well, I suppose we were sort of boned.
You enter a chamber.
Battle mat! Oh shit, this got real.
That looks something... can you... There. Okay. Thank you. Like this.
Jesus Christ. Boss fight.
Here, let me walk you through it quick. You step into this massive cavern, sort of partially shaped, partially natural. 3 walkways wind from the tunnel entrance over towards this raised section here. These are chasms, right, that drop down, and when you come in, you can hear the sound of the ocean crashing to the rocks far below. The central area here is raised up, and that's obviously the one that's the most man-made, the most sculpted from the raw stone. It's a raised platform, and you can see there's etched into the ground the symbol of a coiled serpent. When you arrive, you see there are a circle of figures standing around the symbol. You see there are 4 guards, sort of standing like this. And you can see that the Duchess stands sort of nearby, just kind of observing.
And we?
You guys can place your figures anywhere over there near the tunnel entrance on the far side.
No fucking way, you fucker.
What is it?
It's Lady Celeste.
Very smooth.
Welcome to the campaign, dude. Ah, the Duke's men! I wondered if we might be hearing from you.
Yeah, wow. Now that confirms it. Classic supervillain line. She's got the hair and the flail and everything. Oh, sorry. Distracted.
Duchess Nightspear, by the mailed fist of Kamal Most High, I charge you with witchcraft and treason.
A steel sister? Here? My, you have gathered allies quickly, my friends. Tell me, was Casimir so blundering as all that?
Duchess, please. We have been through the rest of these catacombs. We know the foul magics you enact upon your prisoners.
You turned my hand to stone.
Regrettable, all. How could I not know that this day would come, my Duke's men? I knew you least of all, as Idromedes the Wise would understand my indiscretions. The crimes I've committed are great, and they darken my soul. There is no place for me, sister, in Komal's august halls. Instead, I will go to a black pit, knowing I have given all in defense of Darzovia. You see, she makes a gesture, and the guards sort of raise their hands and start to chant, Sithek, Thos, Sumath, Sithek, Thos, Sumath.
Evil! I still have trouble languages going.
Whoa. Initiative.
That's a 7. Mine's worse. Mine's a 6.
I did okay. I got 14.
3.
First up, then, is actually going to be the Duchess. Your bravery is commendable, Duke's men, but there is no other path. You have brought me the tools I need to cinch victory. Do not now stand in that victory's way. She makes a sort of sweeping gesture back towards the symbol. Wisdom perception checks.
That's 12.
I got 11.
Everybody above a 10, then,
Fuck you guys.
can see that arranged at various points along the symbol are 4 squat jars, their lids etched with the face of Urodai, the Brine King.
The jars!
By my beard.
Completely forgot about those. Shit.
Urodai's power, fell though it may be, need not be squandered in some moldy tomb. Here at least may his depravity save some lives.
What black sorcery are you working here? Do you know the powers you court? Persuasion.
On your turn. The serpent has taught me much, Greybeard. I now have wisdom enough to match and overcome all the might of Melendor. And that's actually going to be her turn. We're going to skip over question mark for now. That brings us to Fletch.
Those guards are still chanting, right?
Yep. Sithek, Thos, Sumath, Sithek.
Because Fletch is gonna move here and cast silence on those motherfuckers. Centered.
Nice.
Clever.
Yeah, sure. What's the radius? And describe your spell.
Should be 20 by 20. And I think it's a shush, right? And everything in that square goes quiet.
Yeah, you see the guards just suddenly start lip syncing. Actually, I think the Duchess is caught in there too.
She's probably interrupted mid-evil monologue.
Exactly. That's concentration, right?
Yep, up to 10 minutes.
Okay. Next up is Zydromedes.
I ain't giving up on the Duchess yet. Your Grace, even now it is not too late. Cast aside these dark shrouds. Come once more into the light. Persuasion's real good. 23.
If only, if only. Down this dark path have I started. Now I must walk it, till Darzovia has either victory or defeat.
There are other ways, Your Grace. Do not now despair when the enemy has come to our very gates. Think of your people.
It's you who endanger my people, foolish heroes, by standing in the way of what must be done.
Really? With a 23?
Keep working at her. You'll get somewhere. And that's Rael.
2 arrows, 2 guards. Let's see. It's a 16 and a 9, which makes a 25 and an 18.
Oh yeah. Roll damage on both.
First one's only 6, but the second one's 11.
Concentration rolls for them. Huh? Which they both make. The guards are so enraptured by their casting, they don't seem to notice the arrows stick into their flesh.
More where that came from.
And that's Lady C.
Don't think I can get there. Not and attack. Okay. Move here. And activate Sacred Weapon.
Nice. What's it look like?
She swings her flail over her head and it starts to glow with holy light. Get my charisma to attack rolls for a minute. So yeah, come all is all.
Badass. Lastly, it's the guards. Yeah, they keep chanting silently. Pretty much nothing happens.
No dark portals? No disembodied voices from beyond the void?
Nope, just a circle of snake-faced dudes lip syncing to nothing.
Beautiful.
Make sure you keep that concentration then. One bad roll, the whole spell goes.
And that's round 1. Round 2 starts again with the Duchess. She's gonna start to come down the dais a little bit. Come down to meet you. You think you act nobly, and in a way you do. I am a monster. There's no sense in denying that. But now, monsters are all that can save us. As she lifts up her hand, you see something starts to rise up out of the chasm. It is a massive serpent,
Of course.
made entirely of stone,
Oh, lovely.
whose eyes glow with green balefire.
Sure, why not?
Behold, Sesesok, ancient guardian of this nameless place, and servant of those who honor the serpent. And it is actually Sesesok's turn.
Goddamn question marks. Give him grief.
This massive serpent comes writhing up out of the chasm and moves to entwine the two of you in its cold, lifeless coils.
Jesus Christ.
Opportunity attacks?
Normally, yes. In this case, no. It's one of his special abilities. The stone serpent's coils tighten around Zydromedes and Fletch.
Be gone, foul serpent.
17 damage, and you are both grappled until escape.
Concentration check. Don't forget.
Damn it, that's right. Oh. 2. 2? For fuck's sake, a 2? I know your shit die. Know where you live.
Total?
Less than what I need. Less than 10. I mean, I rolled a fucking 2.
The silent spell dissipates, and you can suddenly hear once again the words of the guard's chant, Sithek, Thos, Sumath. That's your turn, Fletch.
I'm what, grappled?
Yep.
And that's what, acrobatics to escape?
As an action, instead of attacking.
Fine. Can't really afford to take any more automatic grapple damage. Dex acrobatics to escape. Come on.
That bad?
Bad as it gets. Not 1.
Fletch twists and squirms, but cannot escape the snake's grasp. That's Zydromedes.
Bro, I'm sorry.
Misty Step. Bonus
I just
action.
don't know what it is
Teleport
today.
30 feet.
Happens to the best of us.
Describe your spell.
1 in 3? Is that right?
What? Can't get it up?
Can't crit it up.
Your mom.
Quamoth Onzo Kairit. Bolt of lightning. Zai was there. Zai is here.
Nice.
Gonna use my move action to go even further. And dispel magic on that whole nasty business. Azok Roth Inafia! And reality kind of contorts over there, the spell dissipating as though it was never cast.
Make your check first, and we'll see.
Spellcasting a 17.
Like you said, the area around the ritual distorts, the reality becoming intangible. When it snaps back to existence, however, the ancient rite continues yet.
Really? It's an 8th level spell?
At least. Your passive arcana would tell you that they're messing with a highly potent magical effect. The kind that would affect, say, the whole continent? Rael.
More the same.
Guys, this is some wound level shit.
Fire away.
We gotta stop that ritual.
How?
16
Silence
and
didn't
19.
work. Dispel magic
Both
didn't
hits.
work.
Damage?
That's how.
It's an 8 to the first. and
Eventually,
7 to the second.
one of those guys has
Arrows
gotta fail
flying.
the concentration check.
Deadly purchase on the guards. Not enough to kill them, but still pretty deadly. Concentration rolls. Both succeed again. They are bolstered by the presence of their comrades and continue their chanting.
Eventually, one of them has gotta fail. Okay, keep shooting.
Lady Celeste.
I move the rest of the way up, and I bring that flail down hard. First attack's 21.
Hit.
Second attack's 15.
Just a hit.
Then, it's gonna be Divine Smite on the first one. Sacrifice that last second level spell for 3d8 radiant.
Wow. Roll that total damage.
It's 5d8 total, I think, 3 of which is radiant. So that's 5 plus 6, plus 6, plus 3, plus 4. $24 plus my strength mod twice, so 30 total damage, some of which is radiant.
Oof. I describe?
Please don't kill her.
Bitch, please. So the flail's already spinning, right? And then it, boom, comes down hard and boom, comes back up, and it doesn't kill her?
Nah, she's not down. She'll take both hits, right? And kind of stagger backward. You gotta remember, she's wearing armor too, but keeps her feet
Oh shit, that's right. She's a paladin too. Paladin fight.
And the guards come last. Sivik, Thos, Sumath. You can see from each one of the jars a green smoke starts to swirl and kind of envelop the guards. As of now, they are heavily obscured.
And that's disadvantage on all attacks. Great.
Zai is getting pissed now. Duchess, you fool! What doom have you prepared for us all?
It's actually her turn, so she can answer. She was just smoked, right? She's still kind of staggered back. No doom is prepared for Darzovia. Only those who would seek to cover her countryside in a bewitched wood need fear the work I do here. You see she reaches one hand towards her sword, the other towards her veil. The might of Ododai, wedded to what ancient secrets the serpent has whispered in my ear, will spread a poison fog across Melendor. She draws the sword and unclips the helmet, choking the life from every tree and elf that would seek to yoke Darzovia to its empire. When the helmet comes off, you see her eyes glow unnaturally blue, and living snakes fall to her shoulders, hissing and writhing where her hair should be.
Medusa! Medusa!
Lady Celeste, she turns her fiendish gaze upon you, her eyes glowing hypnotically. Constitution save.
Sorry, I was muted. So we are back after that.
We're back.
Sorry. What am I? Why do I hear myself? Am I coming through someone's thing?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't hear it anymore.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard myself. I heard myself doubling. I'm like, where am I coming from? I'm everywhere.
All
Where am
around you.
Who am I?
One day I will figure it out. So that was episode 10, your official kind of premiere of it. Wait, Aspen, you can hear your own voice? No, I have not lost it. I have found it for now. So yeah, no, that was really good. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Well, actually, I don't want to talk too much because I want to let the people in chat talk about it. But one of the things that I wanted to say, two things that come to my mind, and I had intended to mention it when I started watching the show, and it just reminded me when I saw this.
Totally.
Was I really like the fact that you guys put the numbers and all that stuff on screen. I don't like.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm assuming we that kind of factored into, like, it was a decision you guys made that went back to what we talked about earlier, but it makes it feel a little bit more grounded. Like there's like even if it's just like the dice rolls and stuff, it's interesting because there's some sort of D&D going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the characters work. Like, I statted up, for 6th level PCs for them to play as, and it came down to things where it would be like, okay, Zydromedes is going to make an Arcana check to see if he knows anything about this. He needs to fail, but then I would roll it. I'm like, okay, I got a 4. So I would roll I got a 16. That doesn't work. I'll roll again. Okay, I got a 9. A 9 is good, and then I'll add his bonus, and then it's only this, so he doesn't actually know. So, like, we tried to use sort of randomized numbers as much as we could to make it feel like I'm not just saying, oh, she rolls a 20, she rolls a 1, she rolls a, like, you know, that feels scripted. We wanted to try to have the dice feel as authentic. And I think putting the numbers up there and saying, no, there is a transparency here. You can, like, look at Fletch's character sheet and see how Fletch works. That being said, there are a lot of, like, what I would call mechanical errors in the sense of, like, lots of abilities people forget they have and, like, things like that happen. But my argument is that is very real to D&D as well.
Yeah.
Right? That, like, there are lots of moments where, like, why didn't she just use this? Or how come he has this spell? But I thought this was because they forget, right? That in the moment you're just telling the story, and sometimes it's like, so you forget how wide the grease is, or you forget how blah, blah, blah works. But I think the dice, the intent was to say, like, no, it isn't just all smoke and mirrors. Like, there's hard numbers behind it. It's just a little streamlined. That's all.
And the other thing that is really cool, and I props to whoever does your editing and compositing, because I really like I like obviously how you get all the faces and stuff on screen, but it was the first time I saw it was a really creative touch, the way you kind of got on screen, like obviously the way you kind of use screen space to identify who's talking rather than just sort of putting a camera on a table, and then you know. Okay, like when you watch people playing at a table, it's like you have 4 people and you have the DM at the far end, and it's like, okay, one person's talking, and you can hear him, but you can't really focus on them because you'd have to move. You'd have to kind of swing the camera and get a close up of their face. I like how you
static. Right?
Yeah, I like how you can get the people that are talking on screen, but at the same time you also like. You do like half of the screen is just the game stuff that's going on, like someone's talking to the DM, and the other half is like a side conversation.
Yeah, right. Do you want to talk about the split screen stuff a little bit, Kate? Because that's definitely your wheelhouse.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. It's kind of a nod to sort of the Twitch style of things where, you know, you're streaming and you can kind of see all the players, but it was also a way for us to make being at the table a little bit more interesting instead of just having like a single shot and a single shot. We wanted to, there's so many overlapping things that happen and so much going on that we didn't want to have to worry about anybody missing anything. So we thought the best way to kind of employ all of those things together was to get split screen going. And we thought it would be important to show the dice rolls and stuff and show that like we're actually doing this. And we had a day just for rolling dice called Dice Days that we could get all of the
So yeah, anytime you see a die rolled in the game, it's the roll, right? We had to sit there and film someone just rolling a d20 and hope that it was an entire day of that, which was a nightmare.
There was a do you know Darren Brown? He's a magician.
I don't.
You don't need to know anything about him. He's a magician, but he did this thing, and that I thought about that when you did that, when you had the one, like the natural one on screen. I'm like, I wonder how many times they sat there rolling in front of the camera, you know, before that happened. And it reminded me of he did this episode on probability, and on camera, like on TV, on his TV show, he had a thing of him flipping a coin and getting like 20 or not 20, but it was a string of like 10 heads in a row.
Yeah,
and you only see the segment of him getting the 10 heads in a row, but after that he shows that they literally filmed for like 18 hours of him standing and flipping coins, and like every time he had to pretend that it was the first time he did it, you know.
God,
that's what it reminded me of. But it's like, so I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder how many times they had to.
It wasn't
roll
that intense. But it was definitely, that was a factor. Like, okay, we had a big long master list of we need all these dice, and we'll just sit here and roll. Like, okay, we need a 16, we got it. Okay, we need a 14, we got it. But eventually you get down to like, why can't we just roll an 8? Like, I need 1 8 on this stupid dice.
And it has to be like in frame too. So we'd roll it and it would be just off frame. It'd be like, no!
Oh, there it is!
Paper around, so it rolled onto a different part of like their character sheet, so it wasn't always in the same section. It was just like...
It was pretty wild. Dice day was a stressful day. But one quick thing about the split screen too, and the simulog as we called it, where you have sections where characters are talking at the same time. I recorded a couple sessions of my actual D&D game, just the audio, just to see what we sounded like when we actually played. And like, yeah, I suppose you could watch an actual play as well, but I think sometimes if you're not in the same room, you get a different tone. But there was so much talking over each other, like it was like almost impossible to like pull it apart and look at individual lines. So I realized like there was no way I was going to authentically do D&D without like some amount of side conversations going on. which was kind of a challenge to edit, I think, for you. I think I kind of made it real difficult for Kate to put that together. Like, wouldn't it be cool if for 4 pages everyone just spoke all at once? She's like, you figure it out when you edit it, Kate.
It was trickier, but
yeah. But I think it's effective. I think it feels. I think it gets that idea across that the table is this kind of organic thing, or people are always kind of talking and strategizing and stuff. So glad it works.
Yeah. Hitch especially. I mean, I think everyone thought it, but Hitch mentioned it in chat when when you were starting that dungeon, and everyone was kind of coming in, and everyone starts talking at the same time, and it's like, all right, that's cool and all, but let's actually
initiative.
Yeah. Let's get this. Let's get this sorted out because.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think it's the one in episode 8 where I was like, okay, I want to do an insight, I want to do a medicine, I want to do like, okay, whoa.
Yeah. So one person at a time.
You do that. You do that.
I wanted to say as a longtime DM though, like that one particular moment where the dude it's not actually his turn. The combat hasn't really started yet, and the dude's saying something, and you're like on your turn. I was thinking of like it's a really well scripted moment, not actually how it works in real life. I wish it was that easy to shut someone down and be like, "Chill out, guy." Like you.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think they're also used to that, though. Like that's the point. It's used to just constantly shut down. And you're like,
Because there's one thing if he talks, right? Like he's talking, like I'm gonna say this, and he goes persuasion. The minute he says I'm gonna make a check on your turn, like he just shoots him down. Yeah, it was meant to be this like they've done this so many times. How many times do you have to be like, that's lovely. You can do that on the end of initiative.
It was just one of the thing that popped in my head. Like I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely a true thing too. There's so many things about the series where like, wouldn't it be cool if we could just have the music be always pertinent? Because I have when I play music at my games, it's on shuffle, and half of the time it's this ridiculous, silly, like completely inappropriate music. We were able to just like streamline it and say it's the best, most like perfect D&D session where there's nobody looks up a rule at any point. There's never any of the like awkward like how do I arguing about what should we do,
or
like,
asking the DM if you can try something and then like getting shot down. Well, what if I do this instead?
Right. And then the DM says that's insane, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, totally. There's definitely some fantasy, some wish fulfillment going on.
Yeah.
I wish sessions were as it is there. Yeah, definitely.
Dude, I spend so much time, like most of the time, if you ever watch me playing D&D or streaming, there will be times where the players are talking and I just look like I'm tuned out and trying to do something else frantically. That's me frantically searching Sirenscape for a track to put on. Like, it's me trying to find music to put on that fits the scene.
To me, I never noticed it until I'm like in the throes of like a really big scene. I'm running a pirate game right now, so I have a couple of like accordion-y type pieces in the background, and like very consistently lately, it's been like, all right, so you pull the sword out and his blood is gushing out, and the background is and I stop one. Okay, that keeps happening to me. So this was kind of a joy to be like the music is always perfectly mood appropriate. Like it just completely randomly happens to work out that way. Fantasy, utter nonsense.
Yeah. That's actually why I really like Sirenscape, because I can just really quickly we were doing Call of Cthulhu and I was like, oh fuck, what I put on, and then we happen to be in this underwater city, and I'm like, oh, they have a thing called Underwater Dungeon, and I put it on. It's got creepy mood music and splashes and pipe sounds, and like, okay, done.
Oh, that's cool. I should check that out. What's it called? Sirens what?
Sirenscape. It's SYRINSCAPE.
Oh, okay.
It is a fantastic program. It is not only endorsed by me, but also Matt Mercer. So it's decent.
Right.
Also Ben from
Mercer seal approval.
Yeah. And also Ben from Sirenscape, the creator, is a friend of the show, and
cool.
He's a good guy. He was actually one of my guests.
Well.
Yes, everyone on Twitter has been on this show.
Right. Anyone who's anyone.
We have some people kind of talking in chat. Hitch said, how long basically does when you guys are making an episode, like, first of all, did you film them all individually, or did you do it movie style and you just kind of filmed everything, when you, in pieces and then put it together afterwards?
Kate?
We had a really extensive week of shooting. In a perfect world, we would have taken another week to shoot, but we basically had like 7 or 8 days to shoot 187 pages. So that equated to about 2 episodes a day. And we got about 2 runs of each take before we had to switch angles. So we were like, we would run through the entire episode and like film all the full episode from whatever camera angles, then we'd switch angles, film it again, and like run it twice. And
Thankfully,
so
we had 3 cameras, so we were able to get a lot of simultaneous coverage for most of it, which saved a lot of time too.
we got very lucky that like we could preset up the lighting, and since we didn't really move from the table, that could kind of just stay as it was with minor tweaking, and then we were just moving cameras and adjusting sound and then just going. So it was just constantly running, kind of like a play. It's sort of how we rehearsed it and kind of ran it. So it was like 2 episodes a day, back to back, all pretty much in the order that it's presented with you know, the flashbacks, and episodes 1 and 12 are kind of different. A lot.
But then that's shooting. But then there's all the editing, right, and the color, and like it looks, you know, it's done in 15 minutes, but we've been working on this for the better part of a year and a half now, right, from scripting to production to post production. Like it's a whole different kind of beast than doing a stream, right? Because they look like, oh, they're kind of the same. You watch them and they seem sort of similar. They're playing, they're not, but it's a completely different animal. And that's what's kind of fun, at least for us anyway, right? That we like to have I don't know, I personally enjoy putting in a lot of time and making it look really awesome, but then you get so much less of it, right? You can't just do it every week.
No, that's always kind of one of the drawbacks, is like you can invest as much time and effort into making something sort of artistic, and you know, setting it up as you set it up perfectly once, and then you know, once you do it, it's like, all right, do I really have the energy to do that again?
That's what we're talking about with season 2. It's like, we got to do all that stuff we did, we have to do it again.
Right.
So we're still discussing.
We got really lucky too with season 1, and like with some of the things that we were able to get. Certainly, I don't know if we would get them again with like we had a very small budget, so it's kind of like some things had to go away and some things we got very lucky on in the participation of the actors and the crew, and that's why our chunk of time was so small, is because it was like, okay, well, we can get you for this amount of time for X amount, but like we've got to make sure that we're done by then. So it was very much a huge push.
And that should be said too while we're here, is that we had such an incredible group of people to work with. Like, our cast and our crew were very tireless in the amount of time they put in on what, to some of them, because they didn't play D&D, some of our crew members had never played before, like just made no sense. Like, I feel so bad for some of the like sound people and our their DP, who's a lovely guy, Adam, he's a good friend of ours, but just like never really played it, didn't really know. He just sat there and listened to us talk about snake monsters and duchesses.
And by the end of the filming, he didn't know what was up.
Well, he's like now I have to play it. Like, now I have to play this game. This is the character I would make, I guess, if we played, because I'm interested now. Like, we like slowly over the course of the show converted him. So I don't know if he's played yet. We should figure it out the next time I'm in town. Like, let's sit Adam down and force him to play D&D. That'd be fun. Okay. But anyway, actors worked for much less than they should have. Everybody did, because we had such a small budget, and they were awesome, and they've been still supportive, and they still help out the show by tweeting and that kind of thing. We have the best cast and crew in the universe. So
yeah. So now here, I guess this is a question that I'm interested in. First of all, if you were going to do a second season, would you give yourself a longer shooting period, like specifically to not have to do that again?
That'd be awesome. That would be great.
That would be
it would depend on actor schedules and stuff, but you know, we'd love that. That sounds beautiful to me right now, looking back on Lucy.
I mean, that's always the goal, and the hope is to try and have more time with it. Like, ideally, we would film this over 2 weeks, so that we could really like take the time, and we'd have more people. Sometimes it was just one crew person on set for some of those days, which got kind of bleak, and that's not really ideal. And so like things kind of slipped through. And luckily, again, what worked on our side was the fact that we're in one location, and it's at the same time pretty much the entire time. So like, that made it a little easier, so we didn't have to worry about as many things. I don't think we would have been able to do it if it wasn't all of these factors combined into one. But part of that too just is budget. Like, we can have so much passion for a project, but unless we can really make it to the way we want to make it, then sometimes it's almost worse to make it and have it be not as good.
Yeah. And I definitely wanted to actually mention, I don't know if I said this before, but one of the things that I think probably roped me when I watched the first episode way back when, and was interesting to me almost instantly, and it was actually the same thing I thought when I saw the first episode of Natural 20, which, by the way, side digression, if you guys don't know, a person who was on these guys' pilot episode before they actually shot the real series, but is not on the rest of the series. It was also on Natural 20, wasn't on their pilot episode, but is on the rest of the series.
Or is she?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know anything about that.
No, but yes, the lovely and talented Erika Ishii was going to be playing Nadine, but because of her schedule, I had to drop out because she's such a busy creature. Like, she's in everything all over the place. And one of the things that she was committed to was Natural 20 at that time. So, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, that's fine. I don't care. D&D, whatever. No, but she's awesome. She's one of our favorite people and a big friend of the show. So, yeah, please check her out. She's the best if you don't already know how awesome she is.
But yeah, what I was gonna say.
Sorry, you were saying something about.
Yeah, no.
20,
what I was gonna say was the thing that kind of got me interested instantly is, and I just knocked my camera over, is that the way that everything was put together. Like I know Natural 20 because I talked to Dominic Jovina and he was sitting on the show and I could literally see over his shoulder while he was on camera was the room that they filmed the show in, is just his living room, and so it's one of those things where as soon as you realize that, it kind of, you realize, oh no, it's edited and it's put together to look really, really professional, even though behind the scenes it was as low budget as it gets. But
right.
But I think that's really cool, is that especially you guys managed to put together something that looks slick and professional, and when someone sees it, they're like, wow, a lot of work went into this. This is very clearly, something that it's not like, again, and the reason I always give people props when on this aspect in particular is because when you look around, it's so easy to identify things that look cheap, and when something looks cheap, it looks like the people who are creating it don't care as much as they could.
Don't care. Which might not be true.
No, that's the thing. Like, it's probably not true.
You have to spend the time.
It's probably not true. It's probably just as much of a labor of passion and love. But with anything, you have a first impression to make, and if you can, if you manage to make something look slick and professional and well done and well put together, then people will say, oh wow, why isn't this like, when I first saw Natural 20, this is before your guys' show actually came out. I was like, wow, this show is really put together, really well edited. It's very, very funny. It's well written.
Right.
Why isn't this more popular than it is?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of those things where the minute you see something that looks like low production value, especially in our culture with trailers and everything, people are gonna walk away like, that doesn't look good, and they're gonna walk out, no matter how good it actually is. So you have to get over that threshold of, wow, this does look pretty good, this does look professional, before some people will even commit. Like, it's almost a requirement at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Hitch said...
Hitch has got a bunch of questions in the chat.
He's hooking it up. He said, talking about actors, and don't let him fool you, he is actually asking for a role. He will fly out to LA and do that. But he says, do you... Have you gotten, like, contacted by people who are, who want to do the show?
One or two. Nobody like has made like a really serious offer. It's usually offers a la Hitch right now, where it's like, oh man, it's awesome, I'd love to be a part, and like, that would be great. People, the more help and support we can get, that's awesome. It's just a matter of right now of getting through it, right? Like, we just want to, again, not that we don't want support, we don't want help, but it's such a small project and it's such an intimate project that it's difficult to make promises of that kind at this point. You know what I mean? Like, there's like only 3 or 4 parts, but it's awesome that you're that excited, and any help you can have to help us push it out there is honestly more valuable to us at this point than acting in it, because that's such a big commitment. Like, our poor actors were there for hours and hours, and you got to be in Los Angeles, and it's a whole thing. So I love you, but
I'll tell you this: I will not fly out to LA because I don't have that kind of money, and I will never have that kind of money, even though it's my dream to get out to San Diego Comic-Con at some point. When you do the second season, I will Skype it.
Oh, okay. There you go. That'll be perfect. We joked about it. There was an idea in the first season. It didn't make its way in, but I've been kind of saving it in the back of my mind for the very hypothetical idea that we ever did anything else. I love the idea of one character who does Skype in, that there's like a person who's not physically there. Because it was such a thing in my previous game. People would leave for months and they'd Skype in, and like there would always be weird connection issues. Like, we've entertained the idea of a Skyped in character. So I don't know how we would do it logistically, but hey, maybe that's you, Aspen.
Maybe it's it's like a campaign of 5 people, and like the 5th person is just barely there. So like you forget about
exactly.
connection issues. Suddenly they say one thing, we just never focus on them. We'll just cut to them once every 3rd episode.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody in the chat has ever tried to do live play with someone on Skype, but it is a nightmare. I would never recommend it to anyone. You're either all on Skype or no one's on Skype.
Yeah.
That's like the only way you can do it.
Yeah, I've never done it. I've never done it with one person Skyping in. It's
Don't.
Yeah.
These days I do only Skype I do stream games, which is one of those things. And that's the thing is I every time I see someone who is playing a game around a table, and it always makes me want to do it, especially when the DM character is kind of walking around the table. I'm like, I miss it so much. Yeah. Like I've been talking for so long about changing my desk setup so I can have a camera like not at desk height but actually at like height here, so I can literally while I'm DMing I can just stand up and like kind of walk around and do stuff because oh my god,
that's so important for me as a DM. Like I don't do a lot of online play because I didn't really like know anything about it until very, very recently that it was such a community. But yeah, I'm all about the standing. Like the way that Alan DMs in the show is exactly how I DM with the previously ons and the breaks and like all that stuff is imported straight from my actual game. So like I stand, man. I cannot recommend it more. It helps so much. Anyway, Hitch has like three or four more questions.
Yeah, he said the final question for now anyway. I guess he said, where do you want to take it? So, ideally, like, would you want to, like, if you had the opportunity, would you want to keep do what the game, like the Zombie Orpheus and Dead Gentleman did, which is like entirely fan funded and then distributed on YouTube, like that, or would you want to kind of seek more professional platforms?
Kate, you want to take that one?
Well, we like having it on YouTube right now because we want it to be accessible to the entire community. We have talked about, in a perfect world, being noticed or something by, of course, Geek and Sundry or Nerdist or something like that. But it was also early on we decided that we were going to make the first season before we tried to do any of that because we wanted to preserve the season and the show the way that we had thought of it, the way that
it's
to
like
keep it the way
core
that
identity, what the show actually is.
Yeah, so that we didn't want someone to take it and be like, this is cool, let's change these 8 things about it. And we're like, no, for us it was such a passion project and is such a passion project. We wanted to preserve it as much as possible before it potentially got changed. So in a perfect world, we would love if it went somewhere and got bigger, but if it just kind of hangs out and lives on YouTube and has like really awesome fans, then that's fine too. We made it, and like for us that was important. That would just be made. So
yeah, exactly. That's what we care more about, that it exists, that people like it. Then a distant third to that is how many people see it. We obviously want more people to see it all the time, but the first 2 are really what matter, that we like it and that other people like it and the community likes it. Then fine. If someone is interested in making it with us, cool, let's do that. But that's the very distant third as far as what we're concerned about. We're just happy you like it, Hitch. That's what we're happy about.
I can't make any promises, and so actually don't quote me on anything. But oh my god, where's my schedule? But we're hanging out today, and this is actually something I normally drop at the bottom of the episode. But next week on Tuesday on the Fuzzy Dice Show, I'm gonna be hanging out with Ivan Van Norman from Geek and Sundry.
Oh, sure you are. That's cool.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll be like, hey, there's this guys I know, and they
should check out the show that my friends made.
Got a thing.
Yeah, and we have some like small avenues in. Erica is a good friend, of course, and she is connected with Geek and Sundry pretty heavily at this point. I've been over there a few times. They're awesome people, but it's that thing we have to find the right window and the right opportunity, the right time to say, so you guys don't like web series, dude. I mean, like, you know what I mean? You don't come off as that guy. So we'll see. At some point, that would be awesome. But
honestly, though, dude, like that's one of the things I learned. So like, I used to when I was starting the talk show. I used to like look around at all these people. It's like, oh, I'd love to talk to this person. I'd love to get this. And I was like, but how do you even say, like, how do you even like, hey, you want to do something together? And then I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it's like I just stopped doing it. Like I stopped caring about that, and I just started getting in touch with people. Like, hey, do you want to get together and do something? And it's like, I mean, it's surprising how many people are like, yeah, cool, yeah, let's
sure, whatever,
let's work it out.
It's working awesome for you right now, man. You've got this long string of incredible geek guests. Like, you're just doing it. So
no,
take a page out of your book, man.
Don't be me, but I encourage everyone, like, go and talk to people and say, like, hey, I have a thing. Like, do you know anyone you can put me in touch with? Like, is there anywhere you can kind of or anyone I should get in touch with? Like, that's a lot of my guests come from me, me saying like, hey, do you know anyone that'd be cool? And they'd be like, yeah, just talk to this guy and he'll do, And it's so I mean, if you guys are like, hey, we kind of want to partner with networks and stuff, I'd email the shit out of them.
That's something that we've talked about. I think once we get through the first season, I think we want to go and say, here's a completed season. Look at this. Look at the fan response. Blah blah blah. The only thing it's missing is a big audience. If you gave this to a big audience, I bet their fan response would be the same, but much larger. So, but since we're kind of in the middle of it, it's definitely on the burner. But we're with our regular lives and doing the show. It's about getting it out there first, and then we can decide what's the next step. Hitch had a question. Another one is
who's asking you guys about possibly doing like actually broadcasting D&D. Like, I don't know, maybe taking the game, some stuff from the show and playing through it. Like, especially if you have, like, you say we have a campaign that has like 30 plus sessions of backs, stuff that never happened. Like, I don't know, why don't you could start at level 1 and play through all that shit.
Yeah, and see how they got there. That's kind of interesting. Well, that's the one thing that I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in a more serious way, is that whatever we do next, it's going to be a break from scripted material. If we do another season, I would love to. We did like one little tiny actual play one shot called Swine Before Pearls, which is on YouTube, and you can go check out. And it's a pirate theme thing, and it was with some cast members. I think that whatever we do next, I'd like to do another one of those because that was pretty well received. But I feel like we wouldn't do a stream. I think we're more of because part of our brand identity is sort of shot and high production value and like polish and color and that kind of thing. It'd be cool to do an actual play and shoot it a little more professionally than necessarily you would in a stream situation, right? Where there's no internet connection and that kind of thing. Edit it, put it on YouTube. I'd love to do something like that. It's kind of what I was thinking, but we made no official decisions. But that's kind of a cool idea for me.
And logistically, it's a little harder too, because like we all prefer to play in the same room together again, because Skyping can be such an issue based on our past. But we're not all in the same states and stuff, so we kind of have to plan it when we can all be together. So sometimes it makes it easier to just record something and then put it out, a piece at a time. But
so I would look for something like that probably coming down the pipeline sooner rather than later. I'd love to do it. I'm not sure when it would happen, but because again, I love to play and I've always wanted like a really solid actual play, something I've always wanted to do. It's like in the back of my mind. I could see at some point in the near future using the XP brand to do an actual play, like a podcast or a show or something like that. But Twitch is just a big mysterious magical contraption to us. We have no conception of how it works. It would be like a long education to figure out how to do that kind of streaming. So someday maybe, Hitch, but no time soon.
I've always said like I see a lot of people are having a lot of success with those highly sort of edited, I guess kind of condensed podcasts that, they're actual play podcasts, but they really put a ton of back end sort of editing and stuff to really kind
of a God's fault thing,
to really kind of condense the content and cut out the fat and just make it like. Basically, essentially what you guys are doing with the show, which is the way it's edited with the music and the way, you do multiple takes of the same thing because, narration-wise and stuff, because that way the experience that you deliver to the listener or the viewer is, like, literally as perfect as
curated.
It can be. Whereas, I see a lot of people doing that, and someone asked me once, they were like, why don't you do a podcast? And the answer is, Twitch keeps me honest. I'm very lazy. And so if I had to edit and like the reason I don't do YouTube and podcasts because I'm too lazy to edit and all that, and if I had to, if like something getting done was dependent on me sitting down and like putting it together and then
putting in extra time beyond that you already made the adventure and got everyone there, right?
Like I could do D&D because D&D is easy. You sit down with people and it goes, and you have to sort of entertain them for that 3 or 4 hours. But it's like if they're like, okay, now I'm sitting at my computer and I'm looking at this thing that I need to get done, but there's other things that that I could be doing right now. Like I just never do it. I'm so bad at that. I'm the laziest artist that I know, I think.
But I think that kind of comes with the territory, right? That's a common complaint that I've heard. But I could see us doing something like that. Like the first thing you were talking about, that feels very on brand for XP, doing that sort of polished presentation. Because we like polish. We like to polish things.
Also,
I'm saying this because Kate would have to do all the work. Like I'm sitting here talking about let's do it. That sounds awesome. And Kate's just kind of smiling. Oh, cool.
We'll do that, and then we'll have you write up that Obsidian portal, so it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
good.
No, that's really I mean I'd definitely be interested in hearing that, obviously, because I have very little time to. I have no time to listen to podcasts. I have a million of them on the back burner that I probably should be listening to, and I have no actual time to do it. But I would be happy to add another podcast to that list of things that I have no time to listen to. No, it's
awesome.
Sometimes I feel like that's a little bit insulting to people. It's like, yes, I put your podcast on my feed, and I'm working too much.
Listen to it, yeah. Right. No, I get it, man. I think it comes to the territory. If you're a streamer, if you're a creator, if you're putting content out there, like you have no free time in your life. That's just how it is. Yeah. Especially if you work at a cheese place.
That's why I have no free time. No, people used to tell me that. People used to tell me, they're like, yeah, is it like I've never really seen the show, and I'm like, I don't fault you at all, because if I were in your position, I wouldn't have seen it either. Like we all put so much time into what we're doing, and when you guys put like a year or 2 years of time into creating 15 minutes of content for someone to consume, like they don't really understand exactly what how little time you have to kind of engage with all the other stuff around you. Mm-hmm. So exactly. I think we're probably gonna wrap things up a little bit, because we're gonna take a little break, and then on this channel we're gonna be hosting Jay White, Twitch Brotato, who is he himself is hosting D&D Critical Role, but we're gonna be hanging out with him. So before we go, we have some announcements to make. And I'm gonna do all those in a second, but I just want to give a huge thanks to my two guests on either side of me, the creators, the showrunners, and the minds behind the awesome Experience Points web series that you guys just watched a little bit of a premiere for. So that why don't you guys tell us real quick? Just remind everyone who you are. If you want to plug any links where they can catch you, and any information about the show that they might they might want.
Yeah, you got it. Well, I'm Timothy J. Meyer. I am one of the two showrunners. I am the writer, and I guess the creator is my really arrogant title in the credits of Experience Points, which is the web series that you may have just watched or not watched, depending on if you've just wandered in. You can find us on YouTube. You Google Experience Points, will come right up. It'll be like a graph paper background in my ugly face by episode 1. And then you can also find us on Twitter. We do a lot on Twitter as well. We're at XP, the letters X and P, and then web series. We have 2 more episodes coming out. The next one will be on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. And then there's 11 and 12, which will be releasing later in the month. Cool. Kate?
Yeah, I'm Kate. I'm the other showrunner and not creator of Experience Points.
You're the director and the editor.
I'm the director and the editor, yes. So I did that. I did those things. All the information he gave you is correct. Come follow us, spread the word, and tell everybody about it so that you can convince us and push us further into making maybe a season 2.
Yeah, right. If you like the show, just tell your friends about it. Get the views up there. Leave a comment on YouTube. Message us on Twitter. Tell us that you like it, and that will just convince us that maybe we really should do a second season. We just need the encouragement and the love.
We're soft, squishy people, and we just
exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to say thanks to Exploding DM and Exploding Dice for hosting us here on Fuzzy Dice. It was a blast. We'd love to do it again sometime. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was great.
absolutely.
Thanks for having us
It
on.
was
Sorry
great.
it took us years to figure it out. Like, that's entirely me and my bad schedule and my bad response. That's my fault. Kate was like, "Why haven't you gotten back to him yet?" I'm like, "I will. Wait."
No, trust me, it is fine. Honestly, I think it was probably better waiting a little while and doing it later than doing it earlier, because I
Sure, was
promise you,
actually
if you had gotten back to me like right when I first contacted you and we had done this, no one would watch. I mean, like a barren
right, that's
wasteland. But by the way, thank you so much, Brad Wodo, for stopping by. He says he has editing questions, so yeah, tweet them to XP Web Series, and they will answer all of your editing
Love
questions.
to answer every single question you have. Yeah.
Please. I want to answer all of the editing questions. I do.
Kate loves to
Want to talk about it. No one
Hard to
ever
tell
does.
if that's sarcasm.
No, it's not. I want to talk
Always.
about it. No one ever.
That's what her
cares.
voice sounds like. Whenever she's like, "Man, you did a great job on that, dude." Like, that's what. And I have to
Yeah.
parse that out to mean she's actually complimenting me. Yeah, she just sounds like that all the time.
Yeah.
Good work, dude. Sounds
Wow,
good.
really great.
All the time.
That's funny. No, definitely. The links for the YouTube channel and the Twitter are in chat, so go hit them up, give them a follow, check out all their episodes. And as they mentioned, this new episode 10 is going up on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yes, Sunday around 6 p.m. PST, the real time that it is in the actual world.
Oh, okay.
Like whatever strange time it is where you are, or where any of you in the chat are, when you live in your weird alternate dimensions. Yeah. We're on the West Coast, so
Yeah,
we're very important.
the wrong coast.
That's what I'm saying.
So before we wrap things up, just a few quick announcements. As always, you guys are hanging out on the Exploding Dice channel. We have live D&D here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see it right down there in the corner where our schedule is. It's actually right below you, Tim. Yeah, right there. You can see it's also just in general, it's around. So that's 8 p.m. Eastern. We are getting back to Jade Regent. We actually were off last week because we were hosting and I was DMing on Unmade Gaming's 12-hour celebration stream. So we'll be back this week. Also, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on Encounter Roleplay, I usually play, or I was playing Call of Cthulhu. That just ended. My character died twice.
Oh no! Twice? What happened?
On the season finale, he died because he got eaten by Cthulhuoid humanoid fish people, and then he was brought back to life by a chat decision. Like, you know the scene in The Thing where like the head rips off and becomes a spider? It was like that, but in reverse.
Oh.
And
So your head like went back.
Yes, yeah, like
Oh.
tentacles and stuff brought his head
Hate
back
that.
on, and he was brought back from the dead, and then he sacrificed himself to blow up an underwater base. So he died
Yeah.
twice. That was the season finale.
That's pretty dramatic.
It was a good season finale. A lot of people cried over his death, which I did not expect. And
Wow.
so we were replacing that with Storm King's Thunder. We will be playing it, the new Roll20 module that just came out, the new thing that just dropped from Wizards of the Coast. We're going to be playing that. Will is going to be DMing it, and it's the same crew, so me, Mythmatic, Scarred Star, Gareth, Lee, and we have a new player joining us. Also, related to Storm King's Thunder, okay, so this is a little. I don't usually do this, but this is an announcement that is kind of really big, and you're going to hear about it very, very soon on Twitter. So on the 20th of September, I am going to be hosting Mr. Mike Merles from Wizards of the Coast, who's going to come here, and he's going to be talking about Storm King's Thunder, right? Leading up to that, we're going to be running a giveaway, because on that episode, on the 20th, we're going to be giving away possibly we're going to be a hardback copy of Storm King's Thunder to one person, and it may have some signatures on it. So it may have some signatures of someone named Chris Perkins on it.
Are you out? Are you listening to this chat? Come on, man.
It's
Get in
just
there.
keep it on the DL, but it's yeah. So giveaway is coming. We're also going to be giving away some Paizo products, and we're probably going to be giving away a copy of Strange Eons that just came out. And definitely in October, we're going to be giving away a copy of the new hardcover Curse of the Crimson Throne. So keep your eyes peeled for all of that. Great guests. Next week on Fuzzy Dice, it's Ivan Van Norman from Geek and Sundry. That's Fuzzy Dice every Tuesday at 8 p.m. The only way that you can keep up with all this content is to follow us on Twitter, just !social in chat. Follow us on Twitter, keep up with all that, follow the channel, and get notifications every time we're live. And just one last thing, if you guys enjoyed the show, and I absolutely hope you did, please consider becoming a patron on our Patreon. It's just, like I said, I work a full-time job, and then I come home and I stream for you. And the best way to see more content, to see the channel constantly improve, and to to help show your love is to become a patron. Anything from $1 on up will get you rewards that let you directly interact with all the games that we run on this channel, special things in chat, that you can do, and just you get your name on a ticker right down below me. So definitely consider doing that. Big thanks once again to both my guests, Kate and Tim. You guys have been awesome. I hope everyone in chat had a good time. Thank you guys for coming out and watching this premiere. And we're going to get out of here
having us, man.
Because Critical Role is starting very soon. But once again, just remember, don't let Dice Thulu get his tentacles on you, because he gets a little bit handsy when he does. We'll see you guys all next week.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.